So today we're going to be discussing expense return in our Yearbooks app. To access expense return, you can go to the sidebar and scroll down till you see the returns tab. Within it, you can see that we have three different types of returns you can create. You can either create an invoice return, a purchase return, or an expense return. Today we're going to be focused on expense return. In expense return, you can either create an expense return or you can view your previously created expense returns. Let's go to the Create Expense Return page. Here you see a form come up with multiple fields that are ready to be filled, but we're not going to touch them. We're going to focus on the invoice number dropdown. Here in the dropdown, you see multiple different invoices already created on this account. If you don't have any invoices created, you can either go to the sidebar and scroll down till you see expense and purchase, and in the add expense tab, you can go and create a new expense with a new unique invoice number and use that expense to create an expense return. Or you can also go down to purchase invoice and scroll down to create purchase invoice. Here you can create a new purchase invoice and then use that purchase invoice number to create your expense return. So here in the dropdown, I'm just going to select a random invoice number, and you see based on that, my form has been pre-filled. So now I can either create a full expense return on that invoice number, meaning I can just go ahead and save, and this expense return will be fully created for that invoice number. Or I can create a partial return. By partial return, what I mean is here in the amount, suppose I take away the 5 and I'm only saving 7,820, right? So let's go here and let's save this expense return. And we are redirected to the View Expense Return page. Here I see my expense return, which I just created with its details, everything from amount to the currency to the added by, added at. And here in the Action tab, I can see that I can edit this expense returns, maybe change the amount more, or I can delete this expense return. So I can delete it by clicking on this delete icon, or I can select and delete it by using the delete selected button. Another thing I can do in this view page is apply filters. So here in the top, I have the add filters button where I can see all the different filters I can apply. I can filter it by invoice number, by the company, by the return date range, the minimum maximum amount, or by who added this expense return. So now, as you know that we have created a partial expense return for this invoice, let's go back to Create Expense Return page and select this invoice again. And you see now the amount is changed, right? Last time we saved it for 7,820. Right now we have 50,000 still remaining. So we're going to save this expense return for the remaining amount. And now I have fully created an expense return for this particular invoice. So if I go back to create expense return, right, and I reselect the same invoice, it will say that this expense has already been fully returned and cannot be selected because I have no amount left to return. So that is our general expense return flow for Yearbooks.